driver of all other sectors. And once it goes well, it makes us feel very, very good. But of course, if it goes bad, it unsettles us. And that is why the Ministry of Transportation right here in Lagos is very, very keen at empowering people with the knowledge of transportation so that they can understand what the government is doing in making things much better. This is Lagos Transport Trends and Perspectives. It comes to you every Tuesdays from 9:15 through 10 o'clock. And we're here for another section this wonderful morning. You're welcome. Victor Oteri is my name. Right away, let's take you through the roads and let you know what's going on out there. Yes, we can tell you most of the areas that we're covering this morning are still looking pretty good. All right, those of you making that journey towards the island, I can tell you Alakpere is very, very good, connecting Ogudu, linking up to the 3rd Milan Bridge. It's still a good drive at the moment. We can also tell you that most other areas that we're covering, especially Ikorodu Road, also looking good as well. And the impediments that we've seen this morning, most of them, they've been properly tackled, so it's a much better drive for those of you navigating on Ikorodu Road as well. We're talking about the broken down car with mechanical fault at Sele Niza Bridge in Mile 2 that has been taken off. And then Lagos Abeokuta Expressway still looking good, but you need to watch out for the congestion areas. All right, Ilizik connecting National, all those areas a little bit slow this beautiful Tuesday morning. All right, so this morning we're going to be talking a whole lot about parking matters, right? And it's all geared towards making your movement in Lagos much better. So we're going to be understanding the parking interventions in Lagos, a guide for motorists in Africa's foremost mega city. But before I bring my guest, I just wanted to take a breath because she's been held up in the hold-up for quite a while. Let's talk a bit about some of the new things that the transport sector, or perhaps the Ministry of Transportation, is bringing on board. Last week, Thursday, saw the launch, or perhaps a briefing, of the expansion of intelligent transport system, just to enhance traffic management in Lagos. I'm sure you must have heard about that. We can tell you one of the things that government is doing, apart from putting in place not just the infrastructure, but also trying to ensure that they use technology in driving transportation, make it much more seamless for you and I. So the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation, in collaboration with Huawei Technologies, they have deployed 4 new intelligent transport systems. Take note of that. All right, improve traffic management and road safety. Now, the Commissioner for Transportation, talking about Mr. Oluwaseun Oshiemi, he talked about this during that press briefing on Thursday, stating that the new installations will complement the existing automated number plate recognition, that's the NPL cameras and other traffic management installations that we have in the state. So we want to know that the newly deployed ITS sites are categorized into 2 main functions. We have the checkpoint sites for speed monitoring, and then we have checkpoint sites are installed at Alakpere, and that means you cannot go over 80 kilometers per hour speed limit. So take note of that. And Nitel at Mobolaji Bank Anthony Way, all right, 60 kilometers per hour limit. All right, Alakpere, 80 kilometers speed limit, and then Mobolaji Bank Anthony, 60 kilometers. Now, the e-police sites are installed at Allen Avenue Junction and Nuruddin Oluopopo Road, and it's equipped with high-definition cameras, all right? I will talk about that in the days to come. But this morning, let's switch gears and focus the conversation on government's intervention on parking matters. And I'm going to bring to the microphone this morning my guest. She was here a fortnight or so ago, and we talked a whole lot about parking issues in Lagos. Mrs. Adebisi Adelabu, General Manager of the Lagos State Parking Authority. Madam, nice to have you back in the studios. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
All right. So a few weeks ago, you were here to give us an overview of the Lagos State parking policy. And, you know, you did talk about how to situate LASPA in the transport equation of Lagos. Now, for those who missed that program, quickly, just talk to us a bit about the vision and the mandate that has been given to LASPA.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. So, in a nutshell, we're here to regulate and enforce, or we were created to regulate and enforce on all things parking. So, your off-street parking, your on-street parking, commercial car parks, non-commercial. So, those are like, for instance, schools, churches, mosques, and the rest of that, just to bring structure, because the Ministry of Transport, under the leadership of the Commissioner, decided that it's important to have a parking management system that works with a traffic management system. And globally, parking is a good way to make sure you have effective transport management. So that's in essence what we are created to.
Right. And when you assess the consciousness of Lagosians as relates to parking services in Lagos, how would you assess it? Are we doing well? How are we performing?
So I think the system had been unstructured for such a long time, and trying to almost sort of hijack from the usual players in the industry has been quite challenging, but we're definitely getting there. I mean, obviously technology is pivotal, data is crucial, awareness is key, which is why we're here regularly as well, just to speak about it. And because we had to start from the beginning, so trying to let people know, own your space, what is setback parking, what is even on-street parking, ask questions. Now we're getting to that place where we've established setback parking. People understand that you need to do this. We're having our Parkwell Lagos campaign as well. I'm sure people would have seen our signs on Randall, Ogunlano, Osborne, different parts of Lagos as well. So that's just to let people know that on-street parking is coming. We're starting in certain local governments. So, and that's part of the transport agenda as well. It's working holistically with other sister agencies in the Ministry of Transport to ensure we deliver effective traffic management.
Right. So in terms of infrastructure, where are we for parking services in Lagos?
So, like I said, signages are going out because unfortunately Lagos is quite complex and you can't lane mark everywhere, even though there needs to be parking. And in truth, we have a shortage of parking spaces in Lagos. So we've coined a way to try and manage that, to say if you don't see the lane markings, then some place will have signages, but it has to have one of the two. If not, you shouldn't park there.
All right.
So it's about making sure you're intentional with planning your journey. If you download the app, which will become free to download soon, then you can check for your space, your availability. If you want to take a chance and get there, then you have to ensure that you follow the procedures. So there'll still be a lot of PR advocacy going around before we start, but definitely we're laying the works ready to go.
All right, so let's talk about the interventions now. So what are the interventions that Lagos government has put in place, and how soon are we rolling all of these out?
So in terms of interventions, there's certain things that have happened. I'll give you an instance. In Ikeja GRA at the moment, the governor, Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu, just commissioned some roads. What we try and do is make sure we have effective signages there so that we ensure compliance. I always say to people, enforcement is a last resort. Once we have these things there, we expect Lagosians to cooperate with government to ensure that we deliver. It's for everybody's sake. So we're making sure we put the right infrastructure there. Technology is playing a good key role because we want to be able to ensure that our information tallies with VIS, with what the MOT has as well, so that when we sit down to have these meetings, everybody is on the same page. So whether it's delivering a good road network, it's delivering infrastructure in terms of signages, the kind of roads we want, the kind of signages we want, the kind of sizes of roads we want. Everybody is being able to play their part to deliver that to Lagos. Talking
about roads now, which you just mentioned, that brings me to the issue of collaboration. Do you have any kind of collaboration with those that construct the roads? The Minister of Works, for instance, to say, look, when you're doing these roads, there must be enough setbacks, there must be parking spaces and all of that. Do you have that?
So, we do, but it's new. I think that this government has been very intentional about certain things, non-motorized transport integration, so that it's easy for you to get from one form of transport to the other. So say, for instance, with the Lamata train stations, there are car parks there. So you can park your car, you can get on the train. The distance between you getting on the train and being able to get on a ferry or something shouldn't take that long. So this particular government has been intentional in making that sort of synergy happen. Yeah.
Right. Okay, now, so anything new from last Friday? Are you bringing anything, or are you introducing anything new right now?
No, just the on-street parking like we've spoken about.
Okay.
We're looking to definitely roll that out this year. Meetings are happening. We're talking with the people that have the operating licenses to ensure that they deliver world-class service to Lagosians. I always say this thing: you can ask questions. Know your right. Ask questions. The other day, I got stopped by some officers, and I asked, why did you stop me? And they were all surprised. And then they asked for the key to the car. And I said, I'm quite sure it's illegal for you to drive my car.
All right.
So they let me go. We need to be able to ask questions. That's why government is there. And it's reciprocal. Government can ask you. You can also ask. But the idea is that we come together and we work for the greater good of Lagos.
So how do we know those that are working for the genuine interest of LASPA, so to say? Because a lot of times we come across so many people who claim to be, once you get to a particular location, somebody stops you, hey, you have to pay this amount of money. So how do we know who is genuine?
Issue for us. It's quite unfortunate. We've had reason to apprehend a few people. We've taken them to police station, and it's not just LASPA, to be honest. It's LASMA, it's MOT. People impersonate all the time. So it's something that we're very conscious of. We have the whistleblowing thing that we do, so that if you spot anything suspicious, let us know. We also have our enforcement officers that go round, and if they find anything suspicious, also we try and work with the local governments to say, can you tell your people to stop enforcing parking? Because we work with the local government.
Because that's a very big issue in Lagos. Local governments are trying to find their space in transportation, and we said they do not really have one space there, but it appears they've taken over the whole place.
So I think Lagos is quite peculiar, because we've tried, and this goes beyond transport, in almost every sphere of government, to be able to work together with the local governments. And say with us, for instance, we've been able to develop, and it's taken time, because sometimes when something is new, people are apprehensive, they're suspicious. But I think we're eventually at a place where people understand that this reform must happen. It is for the greater good of Lagos. And I say all the time that parking is beyond revenue. Yes, there is money to be made. Yes, we will make money. But it's also about restructuring the system to ensure that we give something back for the money you collect from people to park their cars. So it will become a thing of the past in Lagos, where you park somewhere and somebody just come and say, hey, pay me money. No. Where's your uniform? Where's your ID?
Right.
Those are the kind of changes we're trying to bring about in the MOT. So yes, parking has its part to play, but also, like you just said earlier, the intelligent transport system.
Right.
Obey speed limits. Be conscious of it. Don't park on a red line. That's TMS.
Right.
Don't park on beware of these things. And when people like VIS come here and speak about going to driving school, so you know the codes, you know what the lines mean. They are important. And Lagos is going to get to a place that unless you understand all that, you will continually be in violation.
Right. Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. This morning on Transport, Trends and Perspectives, we're trying to understand, some of the latest interventions from the Lagos State government, just to guide you as a motorist in a mega city like this. All right. If you want to also add your voice to the conversation this morning, you can do so. 091 5387 7127. That's 091 5387 7127. My guest is here, and of course she'll be willing to respond to you as well. Right. So for those who are interested, you are the regulator, so that means private players are also expected. Is that correct? So who can become an operator? Who can be an operator under LASPA?
So we have certain guidelines we follow. Ideally, we want people that understand the business, people that have the financial capability, because you do require investment. You need to buy your equipment, you need to buy laptops, you need to discourage people that have been in the business. We understand that that's their bread and butter. But what we try and encourage to say, it's no longer business as usual. You need to be able to embrace reform, embrace technology, put e-gates if you have commercial car parks, put your counters. So even before I drive in, I can tell you, I can read how many spaces do you have left. Is there any space left, so I don't even waste my time to turn in?
Right.
So we're trying to do that. So it's a hybrid of people.
Right.
People
So,
existing in the business and people looking to come into the business and become major players.
okay, 08099120777. Hello there, good morning.
Good morning, Victor.
All right, who am I speaking with?
Comrade Daniel.
Comrade Daniel, how are you doing?
I'm good, and you?
Very good too. So I have the General Manager of LASPA, Lagos State Parking Authority, in the building. Talk to me.
All right. Good morning, madam.
Good morning, sir.
All right. Yes, I would just commend Lagos State government for this wonderful idea they brought in to regularize the mood of which people park within Lagos premises environment. It has been so indiscriminate about parking manners of Lagosians. Because there's a day that there was a traffic on the road when I was driving, and the vehicle just parked right in the center of the road. This man just went into the kiosk there, maybe one of the provision shops, to purchase items, causing terrible traffic.
Wow.
He just walked out of the and just entered his vehicle and drove off. That is the issue in Lagos.
Right.
My second concern is that how can you call? Because people like taking advantage of government policies within Lagos, especially when it comes to traffic matter. We used to know the abandoned vehicles, agencies.
Okay.
They become so hard-handed that they begin to harass citizens, motorists on the road. Anybody that does park, maybe you just park off the road, you see the phone calls, and come on, attack you there, trying to pull your vehicle away, because a lot of scuffles within the town. What measures need to put in to ensure that such people will not take advantage of this? And do you have monitoring team as well to monitor people who are doing also this kind of this something, as I said.
All right. Thank you so much. So monitoring, very, very key. Curbing the excesses of overzealous enforcement officers. What can LASPA do in that regard?
Okay, so first of all, the abandoned committee is under the Office of the Special Advisor of Transport. However, when we hear certain things or we note certain things or we see certain things, we always make sure we forward it to him. And what we try and do is create, I know for instance, we've just set up a group to say when you're going out on enforcement or when you see something, can you ensure that perhaps they have a permit with another sister agency, or there are certain things they've agreed with another agency before you carry out your enforcement, because that's really critical. We want to ensure that we're representing government properly. So it's no good for me as LASPA to go and pick up your car if I hear a report or I see something to say it's been abandoned.
All right.
But then another agency comes along and says, no, they have our permit for being there for a temporary time.
And that's where people might get things mixed up a bit, because sometimes other agencies might take away your function. I mean, look at what he just said right now. We have the Abandoned Vehicles Committee. So if somebody parks his vehicle on a space, he goes to buy something, is that not supposed to be your function?
So, like I said again, before we came to be, there were certain things that were handled by certain agencies.
Okay.
It's going to take time for us to take some of those things back fully.
Let me take this call.
Okay.
Hello there, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
All right, what's your name?
My name is Oladimeji. I'm calling from Oteri at the moment.
All right.
I just want to make a quick inquiry from the General Manager of LASPA.
Good morning, Oladimeji.
Good morning, madam. Basically, if you make, I know you your payment is annually anyway.
Yes.
If you make your payment for parking permit,
yes,
what would be issue to the maybe the organization or the individual that pays?
Okay.
Yes.
That is,
so we issue you as immediately we receive payment.
Okay, just listen on your radio, Oladimeji.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
Right,
So we issue you a permit. So if we have your email, we'll send you notification of your payment that it's been received. Then we create a plaque for you that has a QR code. And once it's ready, you also get notification from us, either a phone call or an email, and we expect you to pick up the plaque and screw it either on your building or have it ready with your security people, so that anytime anybody comes around, once they see that, they know that you've paid. A lot of people don't come back to pick it up.
All right. Okay, just a second. Hello there, good morning.
Hello, good morning, sir. My name is Akin, calling from Ogba.
Go ahead, Akin.
Okay, now there's something I need to ask. I don't know if you're aware that the train station now, they now collect money even for you to come drop a passenger, not even you parking.
The train station.
If you're aware about that, even the one at Agege, the train station, just for us to go drop somebody, they said for us to go inside, we have to pay 400. Now it's causing serious traffic.
Okay, all right.
Because some of them don't want to go inside. How would I pay 400 just to drop somebody and I'm going back again? I'm not dropping in the car. So I don't know if there's something that can be done about that.
Very good question. Okay, thank you so much for that. All right, so let's just allow you land on the previous, okay. So once somebody pays as an operator, you send
No, not as an operator, as a company. When you pay for your setback space,
okay,
we send and we receive payment. We send an email or a phone call, depending on what information of you we have, and then to let you know that we've received your payment, your plaque will be ready. We also send notification when your plaque is ready. But I think last year we had over 700 plaques that were uncollected.
Wow.
So people just, once they pay, they expect that we've paid and that's it. But no, you're supposed to come back to get your plaque. When you pay your DSTV bill or any other bill generally, you notify those companies that we've paid.
Right.
But people oftentimes, I feel like it's because it's government and they're like, look, we've paid, we've paid, we don't want their wallet, and that's where it ends.
Let's address Akin's concern. I mean, he sounds like a taxi operator or maybe one of those
Uber.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, train stations asking people to pay money for just drop-offs?
So we're still working with Lamata on that. I don't think Lamata knows about this, but I'm going to forward it to them because I'm quite sure that is illegal payment.
All right, it should be. It should be.
So, but we'll forward it to Lamata, and I'm sure they'll do something about it, because I know for a fact that, in a lot of their plans, there's parking involved. And so the idea is to come up with a proper structure so that you feel comfortable to park your car, go and get on a train, or even if you're dropping off someone. Now, I've never heard of this. This is the first time I'm hearing of it, but be rest assured that I'm going to discuss this with
What's the policy of the Lagos State government for commercial places? I mean, so once let's say big mall is built, right? Parking spaces must be built along. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So this is very crucial. A lot of times when people submit their plans for their buildings, I'm building a massive mall, you're supposed to have something called a TIA. In your TIA, which is a traffic impact assessment, in your TIA is your parking. Now, say for instance, I have a mall that is supposed to have 20 or 30 shops. They let you know the amount of parking spaces you should have. This is under the Ministry of Transport, though your approvals generally come from physical planning.
All right.
People will submit something and build something else. So I know that under the permanent secretary now, they've started TIA enforcement, where they go around and check buildings, malls, event centers, to say, okay, your capacity is 1,000. Why do you have spaces for only 50 cars? And we have called events owners to meetings severally to say this can no longer work in Lagos. And I'm going to give you an example of Kudirat Abiola Way. You have about 15 event center on that road. And we've said to them many times, just build a car park where most of your people can park. Because again, once the operators start working, it becomes a case of towing and clamping the cars on the road.
Right.
Because you cannot to get through some of these roads on a weekend is a nightmare.
That's very true. So I have some messages here coming in. This one says, good morning, Traffic Radio. What has LASPA identified as the key problem areas for parking in Lagos? Ibrahim Kunle is sending that one in. Key parking areas?
Oh, there are many, but we always say we start from the CBDs. That's at the central
business district.
Absolutely, because they're pivotal. So, for instance, the on-street parking is going to start in VI, in Ikoyi, in parts of Ikeja.
When is that?
So we're setting up now. Like I said, infrastructure is out, but we're definitely looking to start our Q2 this year.
All right. This one says, good morning. Why do we see so many cars parked on sidewalks and pedestrian paths? Aladakbo Adio is saying that one. Thank you so much.
And that is illegal as well. So the state recognizes that we can't do these things alone, which is why we're giving these operators the license to work. So they're peculiar to their areas. when they start functioning in those areas, if you're parked on the sidewalk, you get a ticket. You're parked on a red line, you get a ticket. You're obstructing traffic, they tow you or they clamp you. So that we start to send the message that you can no longer do that in Lagos.
Right.
We're trying to do as much awareness because, people now, but we didn't know, when did this start? And that's why the MOT is doing this. That's why we are going out as well, talking to people that those things that you think are nothing, but actually impede the quality of people's lives will no longer be tolerated.
This one says, how does LASPA plan to infuse more technology in solving the problems of parking in Lagos State? Ayola Ibrahim is saying that. Ayola, thank you so much.
So I think it's a fantastic thing that we're part of the MOT. So we work with the VIS, and VIS is in charge of the ANPR cameras. They have a comprehensive database. We're integrating with them. We're trying to make sure that we partner with them. We also work with LASMA because, they're much bigger than us. The idea behind the parking authority is to try a different form of service. So as opposed to government taking on the burden.
Did I have a call? Hello.
Yeah. Good morning. My name is Andrew.
All right.
A quick one.
Yes.
The ANPR by VIS, the TMS by LASMA, and FRSC, they have their own too. Now, if everybody can synergize and do it, and then the government puts camera in strategic places, like in Dubai, like in UK, camera are in strategic places. Any building that is 2 stories, that is 1, 2, and 1, 2, 3, 3 stories. All of them are mandated to have CCTV camera.
Right.
So they monitor what is going on. All these conglomerates and companies, Marina and so on, I just want to mention about a few, and Broad Street. They are supposed to have it there, they monitor it, and you have the back end, the API to you. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much.
That's fantastic, and he's absolutely correct. That is supposed to happen, but you will find that a lot of companies are resistant to that. They don't want the CCTV cameras up. So what we're trying to do, even with the parking authority, is look for strategic places where we can place those cameras and see how we can work around the law to ensure that those cameras get up in all those places. I think sometimes we forget government bureaucracy and that there are certain things that you can have a fantastic idea, but it doesn't work overnight.
All right, lots of questions popping in for you, but we cannot take all of them. This one says, what is LASPA doing to address parking challenges in busy markets and commercial hubs? This one says, I genuinely don't think there are enough legal parking spaces in Lagos to accommodate the growing number of vehicles. Cornelius is saying that one in from Ogombo. Okay, thank you so much. Well, we have to run this off right now. So what's your message? What's the pattern thought? And what should we be looking up to for LASPA in the year 2025?
Thank you very much. So I think my first message is work with government. It's really important. If we think of where we were 24 years ago and where we've come to now, we can see there's steady growth, there's steady development. And I always say every day is a new opportunity to bring out the better side of Lagos. So work with government, we're evolving. Government is continuous.
Right.
So we're bringing in new things, new ideas every day. And I always say this government is very intentional about making sure service delivery is done the right way. Okay. So work with us. In terms of the parking authority, we're here to partner with the private sector to work with people to deliver on our own mandate, and we'll be doing that effectively. It's really important that we wanted to start and set a standard for ourselves, which I feel like we've done.
Okay.
So you'll be seeing a lot more coming from us this year.
We'll be looking up to that as well. Thank you so much for being here this morning, even though the program started late, but of course you're here, and we really, really gained a lot from the insights from LASPA. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, she's Mrs. Adebisi Adelabu, the General Manager of the Lagos State Parking Authority. And this morning we've looked at the interventions from Lagos State just to guide motorists in a mega city like this. Mike James has produced the program this morning. Benita Olame in the building as well. I say a big thank you to Bolanle Ogunlola, who is Director of Public Affairs for the Ministry of Transportation. In the building as well, Okpa Emishodunke and Affair John from our social media unit. We do appreciate you. Our executive producer is Tayo Akonle. My name is Victor Oteri. I'm out. Stay very much within. Bye.
I see the sun rising again, but I still see something else. I see a greater Lagos rising from the womb of time. It's a new city being built with fresh steel, great passion. We have gone from the fury of yesterday to faith in a collective tomorrow.
Lagos Traffic Radio, 96.1 FM, moving Lagos forward.